Hey YouTube, it's Tele Tuesday time. I've not quite run out of tellies yet. As you can see, this is a Fender Telecaster with its very Fender Telecaster headstock and very Fender Telecaster body. As you might be able to guess, I made this out of 2 joists as my Shocking Bird and a 7-string. I've done a few of the tellies have come into this category. So first thing you notice is that this bit here doesn't look particularly telly. That's because I drew around this for that bit. No, I don't think it was actually this, I think it was the bass I drew around. I don't think I had that at the time. So I'll just try to keep it as simple a guitar as possible. This is going through my thinking a single pickup and less controls is cool. I still sort of think that. So this one has it's 2 pieces of wood. I can't even see the join. I did it that way. You can see it in the back a wee bit. There's the join there. I don't know why, a bit of an ugly knot there. Yeah, so this is just, you know, joists, and I've obviously missed a hole there as well. But you know, for fun, I haven't yet built a cavity cover. I was just going to stick a piece of wood or a piece of plastic over that. So it's 2 strung like a Telecaster. It's got one of these bridges, which I think is a copy of a Badass or something like that from the 70s. I really like these bridges. The only downside is they have to be through strung from the back. You can't top load them, but they're like a £5 or something like that on eBay, and it's just a wee bit more sort of rounded and nice. Got a single volume control and a Strat style output jack. Not photographing well at all, is it? You can't even see it. Yeah, and it's got a single humbucker which I put at an angle for because I thought it looked cool. It's also got a push-pull pop which splits it down to a single coil, so it should in theory sound quite Telecaster-y. This headstock decal was already on this neck when I bought it. I bought a pile of necks off a guy he was actually in the High Street in Glasgow. And this was, I think there was a few tele necks in it, and this is one actually had a Telecaster logo on it, and it's just, you just wonder who they're trying to fool, you know, with a shape that clearly isn't a Telecaster. I left it on because I found that amusing, that you put a Telecaster logo on a guitar that isn't even remotely. It's pretty obvious to anyone who knows anything about guitars that this cannot be a tele. Even though I'm using it on Tele Tuesday because I'm arguing it is a tele of sorts. Yeah, so I put these tuners on it. See the ones with the plastic nibs on them? They're quite good. I got them from China. I think they might have been the cheapest sort of decent looking tuners I could find. And it's a wee bit different just having a plastic top on them. Yeah, so you get quite a chunky neck. This it actually feels like a tele neck. I've no idea what guitar this came from. Somebody that didn't want to be sued for their Telecaster headstock being too tele-ish. So it's kind of a bit bland and uninteresting, but then that's wiped out with this bit here, which is not bland and is interesting. So, reverb on. So, reverb on, no other effects, playing through my wee laney, coming through that cabinet. In single coil mode. See, to me that sounds like a tele. Reverb off. Strings on this are ancient. Gave them a bit of a scrape and a bit of a go on with the fast fret, so I should be able to play something on it. I missed it. Sorry, I have to do that loop again. I'll probably do the whole video again, but I'm not a pro. distortion, as my pal from Stirling calls it. Humbucker. Back to single coil. Bit of rock pedal maybe? These are off. Wrong note. never used a chorus pedal, but I'm using it now because I've only got one pickup to play with. Not a good pick for pick sliding. Yeah. So actually I'm quite liking this guitar. I can see why I've never sold it. I kind of built it to sell, but it's like by making it pure mad looking with this crazy shape, it was kind of no one's ever going to want to buy it. But it actually plays like a really good guitar. It's amazing how simply you can make these things. I mean, this is total basic, and actually one of the things I noticed is I haven't sanded this bit particularly well, so when you're up high it's got a wee bit sort of rough on the hand. It's a bit, the whole guitar's a bit like that, but it just goes to show how little a guitar needs to be cool and playable, you know. I mean, you're talking components, pickup, bridge, volume control, output jack, and the neck, 6 tuners. That's kind of all there is in this guitar, and if you get those things in the right order, put them in the right place, you can end up with quite a usable guitar. I really feel like what I should be doing with this is painting it. It's like I don't want. The problem I've got with all of these sort of made out of a joist guitars, once you paint it, it just looks like a guitar rather than being a guitar that you've made out of stuff left over from a building site, which is kind of part of the appeal, which is kind of what a tele is. I mean, you know, when people used to laugh at them when they first came out in 1951 or whatever it was, you know, these people have got their really exotic Gibsons and stuff, and then you're turning up with, you know, 2 planks of wood nailed together and blowing them off the stage. It must have been a huge thing when you first saw or heard a Telecaster back then. I'm just not a fan of chorus. Also, I noticed that this actually got quite a nice leather strap on it, and I wondered why that was. It's because this is at full length, so the guitar is sitting slightly higher than I like, which actually might be partly to do with why I'm enjoying playing it. I wonder if maybe I should be having my guitar slightly high up. It doesn't look particularly high up. Maybe it is. And this is another one of those guitars that once finally this thing's over and I can get back into the studio with my band, I'm going to take this in at some point and try it out through a big amp and stuff. It should be alright. The pickup's from a Dean Cadillac 1980 it was called. I thought 1980 as in the year 1980, but I think the the year might have been the first year that model came out or something like that. I'm pretty sure that they still make them, or they made them up to the 2000s anyway, still called a Cadillac 1980. So I did my same trick with this, actually, looking at it. It's actually a gold pickup. This was originally, I had it this at some point, was in my Epiphone SG years ago, and I brassled it to make it silver, and I think I did the same with this, because if you look at the strap bolt, they call it, the output jack, has a sort of slightly goldy tinge to it, but you don't really notice. I just brassled it because gold hardware is hard to get rid of. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, this is a tele, even though it's obviously an obscure thing. But for me, the neck feels like a tele, and the bits that you can feel round about it, it's got that tele vibe, even though it doesn't have the proper, you know, it's like, I did a video of this before, but when a tele becomes a tele, you know, a proper tele that you can't argue has got, like, you know, the scratch plate, it's got a single coil, it's got the bridge pickup built into the bridge, you know, and a tele headstock, so this kind of just feels all of those things, but in essence, especially even when you're in single coil mode, I wonder if that makes a difference. See how I did measure this out to be exactly the same position that a tele single coil would be if I did have a tele bridge. So that in this one you don't have, it's not, the pickup's not actually connected to the bridge. Whether that makes a difference, I don't know. So I'll just put this into my curiosity pile. Great fun guitar. If you ever have a shot at trying to make one yourself, you know, get yourself a neck from somewhere and then just hack away at a couple of planks of wood, and eventually you can end up with something that's very cool, because I'm pretty sure this is the only one in the world that looks anything like this. I might actually put this on ugly guitars, just because I can imagine the uproar this sort of thing would cause on a Telecaster forum, just because it's got what, you know, it doesn't have the correct shape, but that's not a tele, hatred is what would happen. I've got so many guitars I don't play enough. I mean, this one is like, I just ditched it. I don't like it as much as the Shockingbird because I don't think the shape looks as good. I actually prefer it in single coil mode. Even though it doesn't make that much difference when you get the rat pedal on. But please, marvellous! Yeah, it does sound a bit different actually when you do that sort of thing, using the single coil. I'm kind of tempted to actually, once I finally get my band back together again, we can start gigging, I'm kind of tempted to play with something like this, because this is obviously a showstopper. It's like, what the hell guitar is that? Is it made out of a joist? Well spotted, it's made out of a joist. Actually, I wondered if I would ever have a problem selling it, you know, on the Facebook buy and sell page, because they don't like it. Understandably, when folk are trying to sell off, you know, Chipsons and stuff like that, where you get like a Les Paul Deluxe. I actually had one. If anyone's interested, that Les Paul Deluxe wasn't Deluxe, the fancy one, the one with the crazy fingerboard inlays and stuff like that. The guys wanted to sell it, and I think he's only wanting like 200 quid for it. So if anyone's interested in that, the problems you would have, I think, is if you did try and advertise that, it does say Gibson on the headstock, yes, but this guitar is 200 quid and it looks like $1 million, so you know that you're not going to be buying, you're not buying the real one, because the real Gibson would be 10 grand or something stupid, you know, with all the fancy stuff on it. My worry again about that would be later on down the line if somebody else did buy it, because it's such a fancy looking thing, you know, you can sort of see that if that was a real Gibson, someone going, oh, bargain, they should be 5 grand, I'll give you 1,000 for it, you know, and then somebody gets really ripped off. You know it's not a real Gibson if you're paying a couple hundred quid for it. Whereas even if you start talking about £1,000 for that, which seems far too cheap for what it is. You know, it's a pure, you know, that's how con artists work, isn't it? They give you a deal that you think is so good that you can't possibly pass it up. And I'm not sure if I would have problems with this, because although it is clearly got Fender Telecaster written on the headstock, which I didn't do, I don't know, you can sell it. I suppose I could scrape that off. I love the fact that it says Fender Telecaster and they put it on a headstock and looking like a telly. You know, if this had a Telecaster shaped headstock, I would have taken that logo off. just because then, you know, I like the humour aspect of it, and I don't think anyone would ever pass this off as a real Fender Telecaster. Actually, even while I was building it, I had to be chuckling to myself, and I signed the inside of the back of the neck pocket Leo Fender, just in case anyone thinks it's got, wow, here's a 1940s telly. Yeah. Rock on, I'm going to play this tonight. Actually, I'm going to continue playing this. I'm really enjoying it. It's so I don't know, is unpretentious the right word? It's probably quite pretentious, but it's such an unassuming piece of wood nailed together and so little to it that how can it be good? And it is. It's amazing. It seems to do everything I want. It's incredibly comfortable to play.